Okay, so I have gone out onto the web and I have collected things that I want to use in Judy's apartment. I've decided that on one wall I'm going to put a window with drapes, my front door, the sofa, love seat, and a chair. Now, I've grabbed them off Google, but Google doesn't care about scale. So, I've set my image here in Microsoft to be 100% on screen. And then you just use your ruler. And this is that scale rule that I showed you in class today. And you just check and you get your right scale. So there's my 1/4 inch scale. And I'm eyeballing it. I line up the 0 at the bottom of the door. And doors are typically 7.5 to 8 feet tall. So that would be 7. And that's 7.5. So there's how you scale your door. Now click on your window. And now I've got a lot of stuff in here that I'm not going to use. That whole bottom of the floor. So from the floor up, I need this to be about 10 feet. Okay, because my wall's 12 feet. And I'll cut all this so that it's really tight and clean on that. Right now, if you look at these, my window looks dramatically larger than my door. But remember, they're not starting at the same point. See, my door's down here, and my curtain doesn't start till a little ways up. Same thing with my end table. Right now, that end table is a little under 24 inches, so that's a good size. Now, my sofa, I really do like this love seat. It's not a picture of the love seat flat on, it's at an angle. So, I don't really have a great place that I can measure on this. So I can measure the front corner that's closest to me. Chairs. A chair or a sofa is typically 18 inches off the ground. It's a little challenge with the new school laptop because it is a touch screen. So when I put the ruler on it, it thinks it's supposed to do something with that. So from the bottom of that leg to the top of the cushion, close enough to there. Okay. And I'm a little under 24. So I'm going to call that good. And eyeballing this is important. This window curtain arrangement just looks a little too big for me. So that's looking to be 9 feet. I think that's good. Now, earlier, I went out and I grabbed a piece of wallpaper. Remember, dollhouse wallpaper works really well. My pattern for this is about 2 feet from here to here. So I'm going to shrink that down a little bit. Remember, my wall is only 12 feet tall. So I got plenty of wallpaper. I'm not worried about that sticker that is electronically there because I can pretty much avoid it. Okay. And I'm going to shrink this just a tad more. I'm looking at the height of that main element. Okay. It's really hard to read on the video, but that design element is about, a 1.5 feet tall. So that should be good for this. Now remember, if you get your stuff to this point, and you don't have a color printer at home, this is when you save, use your name in what you call it, and send that to me as an email. And everybody should have picked up cardstock when they picked up their large drafting paper. There were 10 pieces of cardstock paper clip to your large scale drafting paper. Now, if you've got a color printer at home, you can print all this stuff at home. If you don't have a color printer at home, there are other options. Scrapbook paper, colored paper. Use your cardstock and your colored pencils or your markers. Do your own artwork. If somebody in your house is big with scrapbooking, scrapbook papers. So there are lots of things that you can use. This, pulling images off the web, probably gives you the most flexibility. But it's other stuff that you're going to have to do to make it work. And, so there we go. There are my images. And, my color printer seems to be a little out of sync. Because, boy, those don't look similar. But they're only, and look at the difference in my drapes. Missing a lot of my red-brown. Wonder if I need a red cartridge. No, it says it's good. So, your computer and your printer are going to read stuff differently. That happens. So that's not something to get all types of bent out of shape about. Now, once you've got that done, once you've got it printed, you can close up your laptop and get your space to actually do some of the more fun stuff. So, I've got my wall for Judy. Oh, I'm in trouble. Yep. I closed it down, and I shouldn't have, because my wallpaper is not wide enough. Okay, so a couple of different things I showed you in class today. One, just your straight edge. You've gotten a ruler, and if you only have a box cutter, that's fine. So you can do that. And it looks like I'm working only with box cutters today. Yep. My little box of replacement blades for my X-Acto knife is empty. So, okay. Just line up your ruler. This image that I grabbed off the web had a part or a border. So, now, if you're in that household with that crafter who loves to do scrapbooking, these are great. They will hold the paper and just make it simpler for you. Now, on this one, I'm going to cut right where that steel bar is. So, before I make a mistake, I want this to be slightly larger than my finished piece. Okay. I got a whole bunch of trash here. And I can just get out of the way. So we'll come back to my dressing pieces in a moment. Where did my 2 glue sticks go? Oh, they fell on the floor. Now, as I told you in class, I prefer the glue sticks for whatever I'm going to put directly on the foam core. It sticks really well. It's simple to use. It's just a win. And the glue stick also gives you some fudge room. As you stick it on there, the glue will let you slide it around a little bit. So if it's not exactly where it needs to be, you don't have to reprint. Okay, so I lined up 2 of my edges, and now I'm just going to let that sit. And while that dries, it's not a bad idea to put it upside down. And, like anything, put some weight on it. Hold those 2 pieces together. So now I'm just going to line up the edges of my door. Hold on to that furniture for later. That's what we'll talk about in class on Wednesday, is how to finish up and get your furniture in place and get your walls actually on the set. Now, most of these little paper cutters have some sort of guide. So you want to make sure that your paper you're cutting is tight up against those. So there's my little door. This one looks much better than Tom's door. I got to replace Tom's door. It is way not the right color. Okay, so there, I've cut off the bottom. I'm going to see that little bit of the wall in this image that doesn't match the wall from my paper, but that'll be okay. Now, ideally, this detail cutting you'd be doing with an X-Acto. Since I don't have an X-Acto blade, I am going to switch out to a brand new razor blade for the utility knife. Now, you could certainly use scissors. I'm better with a utility knife or with a X-Acto knife than I am with scissors. Okay. So, whole thing with scissors, it's that old joke. If you're going to cut it right, you have to hold your tongue correctly. Okay, that's pretty good. I am surprised. Now, this image from the web in front of this curtain is a little potted plant sitting on a table, which really doesn't work with what I'm trying to do. So I'm just using my scissors to edit that out. So my little plant has disappeared. In the days of the time period where I've set this, it was all the rage to have your top piece as a scarf that hung asymmetrically on your window. That's sort of fallen out of fashion nowadays. Ooh, I did a much better job of cutting the top of that dungeon door for Tom's room with that curve today in class. Now, if you overcut, because I'm going to stick this onto something else, the cut will pretty much disappear. So, not bad. That's a little lumpy on the top. Yeah. Since I'm going to put the wallpaper down first on my set, I can come back and cut out this piece where the person who did the shoot for the catalog didn't talk to me about what color I wanted it to be. Is that all loose now? Nope. We're still hooked in somewhere. Okay, see, there I have cleaned out what used to be, a different wall color. So I've got my door, and I've got my window with drapes. Get some of this stuff so it doesn't end up stuck to the pieces. Now, just like in class, it's not a good idea to freehand with your box cutter up against foam core, because the box cutter will cut the foam core. So put that straight edge there and use that and get yourself a nice clean edge. Same thing here. here is my wall for Judy's. My door is going to go right here. Okay. Nothing wrong with a white door. But I'm losing that door in my pattern of the wallpaper. So, the ways to fix that. Time to pull out the colored markers. Okay. So I need some contrast. I need some this is terracotta. I think that's too red. Okay, golden marigold. Now, remember when I was drafting and I had to erase? And I said, use your ruler as a shield? Well, I'm doing the same thing with my ruler again. I'm using it as a shield so that I don't get marker where I don't want it. So I'm just lining it up there. And much like drafting, you know, 1 or 2 swipes. See, now I've given myself some contrast between my door and my wallpaper. Would I like it to be more brown? Yeah. I'd love for it to be kind of in the chocolate, you know, the milk chocolate candy bar range. Okay. Now, with marker, you're always going to have a little bit of bleed. It's going to bleed under whatever you were working on. Oh, there's my cap. Yeah. Okay. Double-sided tape. Whereas I love glue stick for actually putting the wallpaper or whatever my wall cover is going to be on my foam core, I find stuff just sticks easier with the double-sided tape. Now, I want that door to be more in the corner, so gonna, combination of eyeballing and measuring. So I'm going to start and line that up. So I'm about 1.5 feet outside the corner of my wall. Okay, so there's my door in place. Now, and I can play with this. I want my little bit of my window that shows there, I want that to be parallel to the bottom of my floor. So right now, that's hanging off a little bit. That's fine, because I can flip this over and cut it. Now, this is going to be one of those times that, because it's such a weird shape, using the glue stick is going to be to my advantage. But it also means, the foam board, there's something about it that it's just a little bit slicker than paper. So I don't have the wiggle room with this that I do when I glue directly onto the foam board. Okay, so there's my window, and since I cut out that piece, it looks more complete. It looks more professional, and that's what you're going after. And then just flip this over. Grab your ruler. See, I'm just lining up that ruler with the edge of the foam. And see, that cleaned up that edge. So, there's my wall for Judy's. I haven't got any further along with Tom's than what you saw today in class. But through the magic of television, as they used to say, when you look at the examples in the Google Classroom tomorrow, Tom's will be finished, Judy's will be finished, and Mama's will be finished. Remember, tomorrow, Tuesday, it's asynchronous for you guys. The goal is that you are working and getting all 3 of your set pieces to this point. You should have color on the walls, door, a window if you choose. I've got to put a door on here. I've got all that other decorative stuff I found for Tom's house to go there. And I will need to do the same for Mama T's house. I'll need to get her stuff onto the wall as well. So, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Remember, this stuff is uploaded to Google tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening, so that on Wednesday we can do a gallery walk in class. Have a great day tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Bye.